Hi, what's up? So today we are going to talk about something very interesting, something that I have been working on for some time, and I have no idea how to deal with this information that I have right now. If you're wondering what book I was holding up on the thumbnail, it's from my Kindle, obviously, and I'm taking out the relevant page in that very book. The book is called False Alarm by Bjorn Lomborg. So, who is Bjorn Lomborg and what is this book about? Let me get to it. So, uh, if you have heard of Bjorn Lomborg before, it's probably from Jordan Peterson's podcast. He's an environmentalist from Sweden. He's written a couple of books called Skeptical Environmentalist, How to uh, Save the World with $50 billion, and some other stuff. So what Bjorn Lomborg has done is that he has spoken to a couple of economists and other smart people, I think, to come up with like a plan of how to really save the world. So according to him, and based on a lot of other people as well, which like he has spoken to in his research methodology, basically, like it's called the Copenhagen consensus. So according to him, the Paris summit or whatever the climate change goals were made up are not going to be actually as effective as we expect it to be, even if like there is not enough resources or funding to meet all of those demands. So he doesn't mean to say that we need to cut back on the emissions and all that stuff. Like, okay, what he's trying to focus on is what would give us the most impact for the resources or the priority or the focus effort we are giving in. So how do you get the most bang for your buck? So he makes a list of these priorities, and it's a phenomenal job. Like, the more I have been reading his work, the more I have been able to come to a conclusion that following Bjorn Lomborg's list of priorities, we are more likely to reach a place where humanity and the biodiversity itself can survive the oncoming climate change. So he, from the right of the bat, it's irrefutable that the climate change as a phenomenon is occurring in this world. Therefore, what are the steps we can do? What is the places where we need to focus our energy and our resources on to make sure that we get through this and we flourish out of this? And he like, and there is also another reason why he brings this up is because currently how we are dealing with the climate crisis, regarding how we are doing what we are doing with the corporations. I mean, how how capitalism just suddenly became a bad word. Like, you just notice, like, so many people in the internet like have a bad thing for capitalism. Like, especially like my peers, like it's kind of obvious. I don't even have to like say it out loud. Amongst my peers who I studied in with college, like almost most of the Instagram posts, of course, like they are left leaning because I'm from a architecture school background and I'm left leaning myself. But I find that it's most of their posts are a little bit reactionary. Whereas Bjorn Lomborg's research seems to come from a much calmer space of mind, and I think the more these things are put forth, the more likely we have a best chance of surviving the climate crisis. So let me just read out to you some of the things he talks about, which would bring basically he says, like, if you want to save the world, like this is where what you need to put priority. And the first thing on the list is free trade by implementing full Doha. What that means is that in 2001 there was a Doha conference about talking about globalization, about free trade. And according to him, like, freer trade by implementing full Doha, like if you put $1 into bringing this forward, right, you get a $2011 return of investment. Like, that's the kind of power like a globalized trading world would bring you. Like, when you open the borders to start trading, everybody wins basically. Like, there are a few drawbacks here, but considering that in this decade we are already, most of the things are going through outsourcing. Like, some jobs are moving outside, and like automation is coming soon enough. opening your borders is your best bet to get cheaper goods, to get like better stuff from outside your country which you're not making here. And the whole concept of Swaraj that Gandhi was talking about, self-reliance, where India as a country starts building its own products, it may not be as useful as once thought before. So look, I have nothing against improving the industry of the country, which is absolutely needed. But opening the borders outside, in as an economic policy, will actually make the world a richer place. And there are other things you can do, of course, like, but we'll get to that. So let me just read through the rest of the stuff. So the next is in gender, universal access to contraception. Like, this is a bit of a left turn. Like, okay, you went from trade to gender. Like, how is this going to help the climate? So turns out, if you're going to consider family planning and prosperity of a country, then contraception would help a family control how much kids they have. So that's one of the problems. Like, if you have more kids than the resources that you have to feed them, then you're going to have a problem. And if that the resources will be too spread out, and it'll wear thin before it reaches the kids. So if you have less kids, then you can focus resources on those kids which are coming. So universal access to contraception, $1 that you put into it, you'll get $120 of returns. And all of this is in the book called False Alarm by Bjorn Lomborg. I highly recommend this book. It's very readable. He goes, it's pretty impressive what he has done with this book. Now, the next one is health. Okay, like global health, public health policies, expanded immunization, cut tuberculosis death by 95%, and bring down malaria infections by 50%. So, what is the point of all this? Why do we care about infectious diseases, right? Like, there could be even a perverse argument going among the people around the world, almost a Malthusian argument. Malthus is the person who advocated that maybe we should not help people in overseas, in other countries where they're actually suffering, and even if we save them, like, it's just going to be more mouths to feed. So that kind of very what's the word for it? All I can say is despicable, because like, you're just gonna let those people die because they have more mouths to feed. Whatever. These are the Thanos did nothing wrong kind of people. Okay, forget about my personal but let me just get back to this. So why would it be? Why would it help the world if we make sure that people don't die of diseases anymore? Because economically, you get like a huge boost when people are not sick and they're actually productive enough to do work. That's one thing. That's the economical argument. But now there's a political argument. If you have a high cases of parasites in the vicinity or in the environment, the next generation is more likely to be politically conservative. So this is like a weird correlation, right? But according to Dr. God damn it, I forgot his name. I'll get back to you. But the theory is called parasite stress theory. Okay, like, you look up parasite stress theory, it'll come up. I think the doctor is called Dr. Russ. Okay, I'm sorry, guys, I forgot the name of the guy. But he, based on his research, he has like a huge book called The Parasite Stress Theory. Also, like, in one of his research, he found that Hitler back in Germany, he had the data of the people who were mostly affected by the Spanish influenza back in the 1920s, 1930s. I'm sorry, 1930s. I think it was 1930s. Okay, but he found out the people most affected by them, and he found that those people were more likely to be politically conservative and more likely to fall into the right wing, even extremist right wing. That's the whole thing. Because parasite stress theory has a high correlation of people coming up with disgust sensitive personality. So when you take away all, like, I'm really talking about eradicating most of the parasitic infectious diseases in our time, and I do believe it's possible because of the exponential growth of technology. So there is I don't even know what technology we're going to use to bring all of this down, but within the next decade, within this decade, the rate of improvement of technology is going so fast I'm sure, like, we'll make a big dent on this. And I feel that within my lifetime, I think most of the infectious diseases are going to go away. So it's just a matter of time who's going to take responsibility and make this happen. And I'll get to my next video. I will talk about technological exponential growth. But for now, like, let's just finish this. So the next two areas which he's focusing on is food security and nutrition. So one of them is reduce child malnutrition. So which is a very interesting topic. Like, based on the statistics, India still has several children suffering from child malnutrition. I have forgotten the exact statistics. Numbers are like I have very low confidence about the accurate assessment, but I think 36 out of 1,000 kids are severely malnourished in India. These are the Indian statistics. There is a good book about it, which I recommend to you if you want to learn more about child malnutrition in India. It's called Wasting Away: The Crisis of Malnutrition in India, Directions in Development. It's written by, give me a moment. It's written by Anthony R. Okay, I hope that helps. I hope that helps you. Anthony R. Measham and Meera Chatterjee. So these, like, I hope you find that book useful. So putting $1 into this will give you $45 return of investment. And let's talk about the actual thing what we hear about, like climate and energy, right? So what are the actual things we can do to bring climate and energy back to normal, right? So phase out fossil fuel subsidies. I still haven't figured out what would that do, but I'm working on it. Modern cooking fuels to 780 million people across the world. So people still use antiquated systems of cooking, which is firewood and some other kind of fuels, which is not as efficient. But giving them modern cooking fuels is going to help a lot. Apparently, for every $1 you put, you're going to get a $15 return of investment in the global economic perspective. So green energy research and development. Yeah. So here comes the technological innovation. Innovation is what's going to save us from the climate thing, and even geoengineering as well. Focusing on that, because the in the new survey which was given by, I forgot, like UNO or something, like they did not even mention geoengineering. And the Economist newspaper, they had a full article about, hey, these guys not mention geoengineering. Like these are like all the details of geoengineering, which is pretty good. I recommend you check it out. Economist in the August 2021, August 15, 2021, Economist, it has an article about geoengineering. Electricity for everyone. So which is like, okay, there are parts of the world where electricity is not there, but if you bring in electricity, people are more likely to be more energy efficient. Education, you get the picture. Double energy efficiency. So here's the thing, all right, like we did not come up with energy efficient systems just like that. Like most of the technology we came up with in the 20th century, it came out not so efficient, but we thought it was damn efficient though, because nothing had come up before, the industrial revolution. But as we kept going, we kept, doubling energy efficiency. If you look at all the stuff that we had in World War II, like most of the technology, like it has surpassed growth. Because consider this, that most of the technological improvements that you see now, 50% of the technological growth that you have had in your lifetime, all of them, like the 50% of them happened after the year 2000. So that's the crazy rate of technological growth. Once we reached the year 2000 as a human species, beyond that, there was a 50% improvement in technological growth based on the data and the energy efficiency we could do. So which is actually something people don't talk about much. I will talk about it in the further videos, but as of now, I cannot get into depth into it because I'm learning myself. So these are all half knowledge. This is dangerous, but like I'm more of a messenger, so don't shoot me. All right, then there is more stuff like climate change adaptation, like putting up new design, I suppose, to adapt to the new changes that happen because of the inevitable climate change. Keep a 2 degree Celsius target, like bring out. See, the target of keeping 2 degrees Celsius, the return of investment is less than $1, as opposed to all of the things which you're getting. Like this is some of the things that the Paris Agreement keeps on the top, and double renewable energy. So we are so crazy about putting up these windmills, solar panels, and all that, but they don't seem to be giving us we cannot really depend on them, because we are still very dependent on oil and stuff. But things are changing soon. Maybe in the near future, maybe in like the next generation that comes through, like the gen after Gen Z. I don't know what we're going to come up with, because we are running out of capital letters. But they're gonna see like, oh, like we we go to some foreign country to get their oil and ship them back, and it takes 50% of the oil to actually ship that oil back to the country. They'll find all of that archaic and stupid, just like how we will find people using whale oil in the 18th century to light their lamps as stupid. So there you go. Like I highly recommend you check out Bjorn Lomborg's book, and more content like these will be coming up aside from the crazy stuff. I'm still figuring out how to make this YouTube channel work for me. And I thank you for watching this. If you really did, so see ya. Bye.